Dear students, good morning. This is the class for April the 20th, 2020 for Lingue e Letterature Comparate 2. I hope you had a nice Easter, at least a peaceful Easter. And today we'll briefly comment on what I said last week, actually 2 weeks ago, and on Wednesday, and then we'll move on to the second book, okay? So this is what we did last Wednesday. We continued, wait a second. Okay. Remember that I gave you 8 texts that you are going to analyze on your own. I created one single Word document that you can find in your Moodle under annunci or avvisi, I don't remember how exactly it's called. And there's a document called testi da analizzare da soli, texts you can analyze on your own. And they're just 8 texts. Okay. So you can analyze them based on what you've studied, prepare them before the exam, and then we'll discuss about them together. And so remember that in the videos, the texts that are indicated in pink are the ones that I did in class, and the ones that are highlighted in green are the ones that you are going to do on your own. Okay. I don't remember, wait a second, let me see where exactly we stopped off at. I think it was Brad Pitt was the first one, let's see. Okay, so you can see the texts that are highlighted in green are the ones you can do. Okay, now I remember, wait a second. This is where we stopped off last week. Okay, so we started with Brad Pitt's text that you're going to do on your own. As you can see, they're all roughly 1 page long, more or less, with some exercises that can guide you through what you want to analyze, but you can analyze the text in general. Grammar stammers, we did this one in class about some ambiguities from newspapers. Okay, so we analyzed the different meanings of why these texts were ambiguous. And then there was text number 4, we need a clue that you're supposed to do on your own. Okay. This one is more specifically about register, but you can analyze it under different perspectives. Text 5, we did this one together, understanding the multicultural dimension, with a study by Royal Philips Electronics that gave some suggestions to its employees on how to deal with people who belong to different cultures. Okay. And then, let's see, sorry. And with this section, section C.4, several texts were to be analyzed for under their conversation perspective. You're going to do this one, Tamara's photos from the fancy dress. That is contextualized, that occurs during a tea party. And then you're also going to do the full Monty together. And we did a Peter Pan program together where we analyzed the cooperative principles and how these were respected or violated or floated. Text number 7 is for you, interviewed you to a comedian, where there's lots of floating and violating maxims. And then it gets into section C 6.1 with mobile phone and text messages, where you have to analyze a text conversation and how politeness is used. Text D, we did this one together about rejecting an abstract in this case. And so we looked at 2 different ways of dealing with this issue, either doing a face-threatening act boldly or using some politeness techniques. And that was the end of the text analysis part. And we then moved on to some papers that are part of your book. They are under the section extension. And you can see that I cut lots of papers. The ones that I'm particularly interested in are these. Okay. We talked about this interview between a graduate student and somebody and a black housewife in a low-income inner city neighborhood. And we saw how the graduate student did not respect the patterns that should be followed in this type of context, because his standard English went against the language of the interviewee. That did not, and so the interviewees understood that this person, this very young student, was not part of his group, of their group. Okay, because he did not recognize some linguistic patterns. And then we got into Tannen's reading about politeness, women, and indirectness. Okay, remember what we said about this woman that left her hairdryer that was broken. She left her hairdryer around, waiting for her husband to fix it. But she did not ask him to fix it directly, and so that was also a way of communication too. And then we looked at this very long paper about the interaction between Syrian and Americans and how they answered, how they responded to compliments. And they could either do acceptance, mitigation, or rejection. Okay? Remember that there were some differences between how Syrians answered and how American answered. And I invited you to think about how you respond to compliments, either accepting, mitigating, rejecting, or giving no response at all. Okay, and so the document that you see here is full of examples of how these respondents reacted to compliments that the interviewer was giving them. Okay. And that, I think, is the end of the first book. Okay, now we'll get into the next book. You're going to see that it's quite different. It has a totally different pattern. We might skip some parts, but at least for this very first class, I want to show you what the book does, okay? Because it has a totally different format compared to what we were used to for the pragmatics book. Okay. This is something that probably would be better for an interactive class, but we'll do what we can do, and we'll try to get the best out of it. If you don't have the book, no problem at all. Just follow from the slides and it will be perfectly fine. Okay, we're going to use this book, Semantics, course book by Herford Heasley Smith. Okay, first unit is about semantics. So this is how the book works. First, it gives you some definitions. And at least for the slides, you're always going to find definitions highlighted in red. Okay? And usually bold letters. So what is semantics? We said that semantics is the study of the meaning of words in a language. Okay? While pragmatics looked at words in context, with this other book, we're going to look at the meaning of words in language in general. Okay? The meaning of words. And you're going to see that this book has lots of practices. The practice practices part are going to be highlighted in blue, in light blue. And I'll try to figure out how to do this section, okay, in progress. It's going to be a work in progress because I have to adapt the course to this situation. So the first unit starts with an excerpt from Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass. And the first exercise asks you to highlight all the instances of the word mean, or means, or meant, or whatever form it has. And you're going to highlight the lines in which they occur. That shows that there are 364 days when you might get unbirthday presents. Certainly, said Alice. And only one for birthday presents, you know. There's Glory for you. I don't know what you mean by glory, Alice said. Humpty Dumpty smiled contemptuously. Of course you don't, till I tell you. I meant, there's a nice knockdown argument for you. But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument, Alice objected. When I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said in a rather scornful tone, it means just what I chose it to mean, neither more nor less. The question is, said Alice, whether you can make words mean so many different things. The question is, said Humpty Dumpty, which is to be master? That's all. So you see that I highlighted the words mean throughout the text. And the book usually gives you some questions because it wants to lead you to a point. Let's look at the questions that the text prepared for this occasion. So first thing, it asks you, what word is the subject of the verb mean in line number 6? I don't know what you mean by glory, Alice said. So obviously, the subject here is you. And what is the subject of the verb mean in line number 9? But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument. And question number 3. Probably you can write down the answer on your own and then we'll check the answers together. I'll give you the key. So what is understood as the subject of the verb mean in line 12? When I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said in a rather scornful tone, it means just what I chose it to mean. Neither more nor less. And then it asks you, list all the instances where mean, means, or meant had a personal subject, like I or you. And while you're doing that, you can look at question 5. List all the instances in which mean or means or meant is understood as having a subject that is something linguistic, like a word or words. Okay, so take some minutes to do this part. Okay, I have to figure out how to do this type of exercise, how many minutes to leave you to do it, but let's see. Okay, so now let's go to the feedback. Question 1, what is the subject of the verb mean in line 6? And question 2, what is the subject of the verb mean in line 9? Okay, 6, I don't know what you mean by glory, and we said that the subject here is you. Now, let's look at line number 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, it's supposed to be this one. But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument. In this case, the subject of the verb mean is glory. Number 3. What is understood as the subject of the verb mean in line number 12? It means just what I chose it to mean. Okay? So here, it. And just for sake of simplicity, exercise 4 and exercise 5 asked you to find the occurrences in which the word mean referred to a pronoun, I or you, for instance, and where it meant something linguistic. Okay, it's like a word or words. And so the answer to that is in line 6 and 8. the words refer to a pronoun. In lines 9, 12, and 13, it means word or words. Let's go back to it a second. So we said 6 and 8. Okay, you mean and I meant. But in other occurrences, it refers to glory, line number 9, or to it in line number 12. And you can make words mean so many different things. So also in this case, the subject is referring to the word words. Let's move on to the second practice. You have to consider that all these practices that the book introduces are used because it's leading you somewhere. Okay, so we're not going to do all the practices that are used in the book, just the ones that could be useful for sake of going somewhere. So let's look at practice number 2. Do the following 2 English sentences mean approximately the same thing? I'll be back later and I will return after some time. Is the answer to the previous question obvious to a normal speaker of English? In the light of your reply to question number 2, if I ask, what did John mean when he said he'd be back later? Would you be giving the helpful kind of answer that I probably want if you said he meant that he would return after some time? In asking, what did John mean when he'd say he'd be back later? Is the questioner primarily asking what the sentence I'll be back later means, or what John meant in saying it? A dictionary can be thought of as a list of the meanings of words, of what words mean. Could you make a list of what speakers, like John, you, or I, mean? And number 6, do you understand this question? As you can see, it gets weirder and weirder, apparently. So let's go down to the feedback. So do these 2 sentences mean the same thing? Yes, they do. I'll be back later and I will return after some time. Is the answer the question obvious to a speaker of English? Of course, yes, it is. Would it be useful? Question number 3. Well, no, because it's not what we want to know. It does not answer what I want. And 4, is it asking what the sentence means or what Jean means? Well, it is what Jean means. And number 5, can we make a list of what speakers mean? No, theoretically, it's not possible. Okay, because you can mean different things. And then that other question, do you understand this question? Is yes, it's understandable, of course, for those who speak a decent amount of English. If somebody had never heard English before, they would not understand the question. Your text adds, but at the same time, you may not clearly understand what we, the authors, mean in asking you this question. We mean to point out that understanding, like meaning, can be taken in at 2 different ways. Okay, so yes, you understand the literal meaning of the sentence. Do you understand the sentence? But we do not understand what the authors mean by asking that question, that list of words. So for semantics, the word mean has roughly the sense of intend or be equivalent to. And then it gets you into the definition. That is basically why the text asks you to answer so many questions and do so many practices. This is where they wanted to get to. Thing is that the word mean has 2 meanings. You can talk about a speaker meaning, that is what the speaker means through his words. What is the meaning that a specific that a specific speaker, wants to convey through his words? Something else is the sentence meaning or the word meaning. That is what actually a sentence or a word means. Okay. Let's say that it's the common meaning of a word. Okay? So every word can have 2 meanings, at least 2 meanings. What the speaker means and what the common word means. Okay, be prepared because it's more or less always like this. Another section of practice. This one asks you to read this conversation between 2 people, A and B, that are at a bus stop. Nice day. Yes, a bit warmer than yesterday, isn't it? That's right. One day fine, the next cooler. I expect it might get cooler again tomorrow. Maybe. You never know what to expect, do you? Nope. Have you been away on holiday? Yes, we went to Spain. Did you? We're going to France next month. Oh, are you? That'll be nice for the family. Do they speak French? Sheila's quite good at it, and we're hoping Martin will improve. I expect he will. I do hope you have a good time. Thank you. By the way, has the 42 bus gone by yet? It seems to be late. No, I've been here since 8 o'clock, and I haven't seen it. Good. I don't want to be late for work. What time is it now? 8:25. So I'll give you a minute to read through the text again silently. Sorry, give me a second. I'll scroll up so that you can see the first part of the text. Okay. Apologize for the background noise. Okay, now, does speaker A tell speaker B anything he doesn't already know in lines 1, 3, or 5? Anything he doesn't know. Let's see. 1, 3, and 5. Does A statement in line 7 give B any new information? Question 3. When B says, "Did you," in line 8, is he really asking A to tell him whether A went to Spain? Question 4. Is there any indication that A needs to know the information that B gives him about traveling to France? Is there any indication that A needs to know the information that B gives him about traveling to France? Number 5. Does A's "that'll be nice for the family" in line 9 give B any information? Number 6. Does A's statement in lines 13 and 15 give B any information that B needs? Statements in 13 and 15. Let's see. Number 7. At what point does this conversation switch from an exchange of uninformative statements to an exchange of informative statements. I'll just scroll through the whole text, and you have to find the point where this conversation goes from just uninformative talk, chit-chat, to exchange of needful information. Okay, and number 8, at what point does the information exchanged begin to be a sort that one of the speaker actually needs for some purpose in going about his everyday business? Which I guess is more or less the same as number 7, but yes, at least that's what I would say. Let's look at the feedback. Mi sento un po' marzullo. But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, let's look at question 1. My horrible memory. Do you think I could remember the questions? No, certainly not. Does speaker A tell speaker B anything he doesn't already know? The answer is no. Does A's statement in line 7 give any new information? Line 7. Yes, he does give new information. He says that they went to Spain. Number 3. Did you? Okay, he was talking about being to stay. What was it? That he went to Spain, and that did you? No, that is not really asking. Okay, it's just a comment. Is there any indication that A needs to know the information that B gives him about traveling to France? I would say no, there's nothing new. There's no indication that A needs to know that he's asking for information, actually. Number 5, does A's "that'll be nice for the family" give any information? No, it's actually just a comment. Exercise 6. Do A's statement in line 13 give any information that B needs? Yes, because he's asking about the time and he's asking about bus number 42. At what point does this conversation switch from being just uninformative statements to informative statements? And it's just that starts with, that answers 7 and 8, where the person asks, by the way, has the bus 42 gone by yet? That's where actually informative or actually information kicks in. Let's see if the book agrees with me, and if you agree with me. I think so. Yes, you can see the feedback over here. So the comment to this practice for your book is that meaningfulness does not mean informativeness. This means that, yes, we can say lots of meaningful things that make sense in a language, but this does not mean that it gives us further information. Okay, I can say, what a lovely day today. It's a comment. It's meaningful, of course, using words that make sense, putting them in a grammatical order, the English grammatical order. The words that I'm saying are meaningful, they have a meaning, but this does not mean that I'm giving information that somebody could actually use. We say lots of things that just keep a conversation going, for fear of silence sometimes, or just to say something. But this does not mean that we're giving further information, new information. Other practice. You can see by now that the book actually is not one of those content books, okay? It's not like the pragmatic books that gave you definition after definition after definition. It kind of guides you where it wants from a practical point of view. But anyway, let's see. This practice is an excerpt from an exchange between a husband and a wife. Okay? So let's see where this one goes. When I go away next week, I'm taking the car. Oh, are you? I need the car here to take the kids to school. I'm sorry, but I must have it. You'll have to send them on the bus. That'll be nice for the family. Up at the crack of dawn and not home till mid-evening. Sometimes you're very inconsiderate. Nice day. Again, you know, I'm a horrible reader. Take a minute to look at that again. So, you could have had a nice déjà vu here because, for question number 1, this conversation includes 3 utterances that were already used in the previous conversation that we analyzed. So, which ones are they? When the wife in the above exchange says, "Are you?" is she thereby, in some sense, taking up a position opposed to that of her husband? In the bus stop conversation, when A says, "Are you?" in line number 9, is he taking any sense up a position opposed to B's position? Even if they think he said, "Did you?" not "Are you?" We'll go back to that in a second. And number 4, when the wife above says, "That'll be nice for the family," is she expressing the belief that her husband's absence with the car will be nice for the family? When A says to B at the bus stop, "That'll be nice for the family," is he expressing the belief that going to France will be nice for the family? Is A's remark at the bus stop, "Nice day," a pointed change of subject for the purpose of ending a conversation? What is the function of this remark of A's? When the husband uses the same words about the weather above, what does he mean by it? Okay, so we said that the three conversation, number one, what are the three sentences that they have in common? One is are you, even if I think he said did you. The second one is that'll be nice for the family. And the third one is nice day. These are used in both texts. Now, angry wife situation, very dangerous, alert, alert, alert. When the wife says, are you here? The husband says, oh, I'm taking the car. And the wife says, are you? I think that she means something totally different from the are you or have you, did you, what did this person say? Give me a second. Okay, are you, when he said, yeah, you're right, the sentence is the same. Are you, that'll be nice for the family, when he says that he's going to France. Okay, is the wife taking up a position opposed to her husband? Oh, yes. There's danger in that, are you? Question 3. In the bus stop conversation, when A says, are you? That's not dangerous at all. It's no taking up a position against B's position. Number 4. When our angry wife says, that'll be nice for the family, she definitely does not think that her husband's absence with the car will be nice for the family. It's quite ironic, I would say. But, question number 5, when that'll be nice for the family is said at the bus stop, the person actually believes that that would be a nice thing to go to France with the family. And number 6, A's remark at the bus stop, nice day, is the purpose for ending a conversation? No, he actually starts his conversation with nice day. Number 8, well, that actually answers 6 and 7 together. And number 8, when the husband uses that words, he's definitely not referring to the weather. He just wants to cut the conversation and leave. He wants to go. So let's see, let's double check if I'm correct. It could happen, we can have divergent opinions. But I think yes, more or less, these are the answers. So the comment to this practice, what we can get from it, is that it is possible to use the same sentence on different occasions to mean something different. Okay. Let's see. Give me a second, please. Okay, oh no. So we're fine for today, that's fine. Because you have to, think about the exercises. Again, if you consider that each class is about more or less an hour long, and you have exercises to do, that's why you have videos that last more or less an hour, because there's lots of practices in them. So what did we do today? I introduced the new book. I told you that it's going to be a little different from the one that we worked on for these first 6 weeks, because remember, we're past the 24 hours. I think this is class for 27th, 28th hour. And so we started this other book, Semantics, a course book. Don't worry if you don't have the book, no problem at all. We started Unit 1, that gives you a general introduction to semantics. We said that the text starts with a definition that you're going to find in red in your links, in your documents. And so semantics is the study of the meaning of words. Okay, so far we did pragmatics, the meaning of words in context. And the book follows a bottom-up approach. What does this mean? You start from practice and then you get up to the theory. So we looked at Lewis Carroll's For the Looking Glass, and it was all an exercise about the word mean. Okay, and we looked at other exercises to basically get to the fact that the word mean has two meanings, and it's what the speaker means and what the sentence means. So the meaning of a word and the meaning that a speaker gives to that word. We looked at the comparison between two texts, two different situations where 3 sentences were used with exactly the same words, but with a different meaning, okay, depending on the speaker. And not only, if something is meaningful, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is also informative. Okay, and that the same sentence can be used by 2 different meanings, by 2 different people, but also by the same person, to mean different things in different situations. And this is where we stopped. I know that this might be a little confusing, but you'll slowly get used to it. Now let's get to today's song. For today, we're going to listen to I Can't Get No Satisfaction, and I'll read the lyrics for you. I can't get no satisfaction, 'cause I try and I try, I can't get no. When I'm driving in my car and that man comes on the radio and he's telling me more and more about some useless information supposed to defy my imagination. I can't get no, that's what I say. When I'm watching my TV and that a man come on to tell me how white my shirt can be, well, I can't be a man because he can't be a man because he doesn't smoke the same cigarettes as me. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no girl with action, 'cause I try and I try, I can't get no. When I'm riding around the world, and I'm doing this and I'm signing that, and I'm trying to make some girl who tell me, baby, better come back later next week. 'Cause you see, I'm on a losing streak. I can't get no satisfaction. And then it repeats and repeats and repeats. So let me get the link for you. Here it is. And I'll put it right here where we stopped. Okay, so that's for today. If you have any questions, comments, just write them in the comment box or send me an email and I'll be glad to answer. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. Stay healthy and take care. Bye.